Welcome everyone. We're back for another session with Build with Ben. And today what we're going to be talking about is something that's, well, it's been a problem for me for a little while as some of you know, I've integrated Notion with my website as far as basically being the content management system for managing all the different content or live stream schedule, and having all that has been great. But the problem is because everything is being statically generated, and in order to sort of optimize for performance when it comes to users, this means that, well, things get out of date unless we trigger a new deploy. And so certainly like there are things you can integrate with when it comes to build tools like Zapier that will automatically build it every single day or whatever. But I've always kind of wanted a more native way of having that managed rather than having to rely on a third-party tool like Zapier. And so in case you didn't know, Netlify released Netlify Functions, which allows us to schedule basically our deploys along a desired cadence. And that, to me, having that sort of fine-grained level of control is something that I'm really interested in. So on this stream, that's exactly what we'll be doing. We'll be hooking up Netlify Functions, hopefully, getting that all to work. And if we have time, we'll be doing some live coding and building some other stuff with Nux. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. So for those who are new to the stream or the first time sort of seeing me work on the website, this is basically my personal website, bencozen.io. And on GitHub, this is basically where everything is stored. So you can see how the site is being built. You can clone it or fork it to do your own. And so, yeah, this is the code base. And so it runs basically using Nux 2 and Nux content. When Nux 3's content is ready, we will definitely be doing a stream for upgrading everything, because having Vue 3 stuff is pretty great when you're working with things. So looking forward to that. But in the meantime, we need to actually be able to figure out how to schedule deployments, right? So first thing first, let's just Google Netlify scheduled functions. That's kind of my first point. So here we can see there are some docs regarding serverless functions in Netlify in general. But let's see. Right now, it looks like because scheduled function is, I think, in still a little bit of a sort of like test beta phase, we are going to need to sort of, I think the blog post is where we're going to learn more about it. And so let's see. So Simon Knott, creator of Quirl, has been helping us to make this happen, which is great. And then, all right, so what are we doing? All right, so what we want to be able to do is be able to tell Netlify, hey, we want to build something every X amount of interval. And so it looks like the way this is actually being done is there's actually a serverless function that we're going to be calling, and that's what's actually going to basically schedule everything. So let's go ahead and hop over to the labs repo and see this resource here. Okay, so cool. It gives you kind of like a high level readme of what's going on. And it looks like currently right now it is an experimental feature. So let's go ahead and just let's hook stuff up. So go ahead and open up my Netlify, and then there we go. This is the Vue team. So let me go back to my team. All right. So labs, where is it? So we're going to click on here, profile Netlify labs. Perfect. And then here we go. So here we have the ability to look at scheduled functions. So we've gone ahead and enable that. Perfect. Now, what do we got to do next? So it looks like we can now see scheduled functions here. Oh, is that another way to have it? Hold on, let's double check. So we come up here, go to the website. So let's go to the BenCode Zen. Let's see, sites, BenCode Zen. There we go. There it is. Oh, didn't open up. Here we go. Now we opened it up. Look at the functions. Great. Enable scheduled functions. Turn it on. So enabling it will allow it to run it like a cron job. They're subject to existing Netlify functions. So that's something to consider, right? Especially if you're on a free tier plan, what exactly your limitations are for serverless. So this is one of those things where I didn't just want it to schedule it every single day. I wanted to actually be able to limit it. And so that's actually partly what we're going to be exploring today. So all right, so looks like this is definitely still experimental, but we'll check it out, play around with it, and see how it feels. So when it's released for everyone to play with, you'll know how it works. Okay, so go ahead and turn that on. Great. Let's see. Okay, cool. So we just create a schedule functions that does said thing. So it receives an event. Great. Once we do that, then we run it. Okay. Alternatively, we can create a new test site to the deployment. Sure. So cron. Click schedule function. Yep. Running in production, endpoint, open deploy. Okay. I mean, my initial question is, well, all right, so we can determine what kind of schedule we're on through the serverless functions and that it receives the event, but then how would we necessarily say we want to kick it off? All right, let's figure it out together. So first thing first, let's take a look. So inside of my website here, we have our netlify.toml, which tells us basically where a lot of the things live. So we can see here that, let's see, all of our functions here are living inside of here, which is good. So inside the .netlify functions, we have a bunch of stuff here. Oh, this is the build. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so what we're looking for is this folder, netlify functions courses. Okay, great. Ah, yes, here we go. Functions live in netlify functions. Perfect. All right, so what we're going to do now is let's go ahead and create a new file for scheduled deploy. All right, so that's our scheduled deploy. Let's go ahead and bump this over 50% so that we can see stuff side by side and y'all don't have to see me blink back and forth constantly. Let's just copy this over. So a couple things, right? First thing first is we need to install this package. That's the first thing I'm noticing because I definitely have not installed that. So go ahead and add that. Oh, actually, I think I'm using Yarn in this project. Nope, I'm using NPM. I was right. Okay. So we're going to install netlify functions, and basically netlify functions is a library that contains basically some built-in stuff that makes it easier to access some serverless functions regarding like whether it's schedule functions, on-demand builders. These are things that basically make our lives easier as front-end developers, particularly when we don't have to basically deal with configuring all this stuff in the back. We just say we want to use this thing, it does it, we kind of move on. Okay, so that's been installed, great. And so let's take a look at what's going on here. Why is it yelling at us? All right, so we have the schedule. This is an async function. It's saying there's no await expression. Okay, so basically it's complaining that it's not truly an async at the moment. Let's see, let's save this. Is that a prettier thing? Okay, it was a prettier thing. That's fine. Okay, so that's fine. Const export handler. This style of functions is kind of interesting to me because normally I would find myself, yeah, exports.handler is what I would do rather than module.exports.handler. But okay, I'm not going to change up the styling of how it's written just yet. We don't want to rock the boat too much. So once we've received the handler and it's running, then it says basically run a schedule on this basis and then run this function. The only thing though now I'm kind of curious is I'm going to need the ability to actually be able to deploy the thing, right? Because otherwise it's just running a function arbitrarily. So let's figure that out. So it looks like what we probably need then is some sort of webhook that allows us to automatically deploy those things. So I think, let's see, if we look at deploys, deploy settings, notifications, deploy settings, here we go. Continuous deployment, yep. Webhooks, deploy previews, build hooks. Okay, so here we go. This is how we can add a build hook. So here, we can add a build hook. I'm going to say scheduled, let's see, scheduled deploy is the build hook. It'll deploy main. Great. All right, that's all that is. So I'm going to copy this. And so let's go and double check how build hooks work. Okay, incoming webhooks. Here we go. Perfect. So inside of here, basically we add it and then we do a post to the webhook. That's it. Okay, great. So a couple things we'll need to do then is we'll need to also then use our, I believe it's node fetch. Oh wait, we're not using node fetch in here. Okay, so we need to install node fetch. That's going to be a thing. Oh, I'm wondering if I'm going to run into a versioning issue. We're about to find out. There was a node fetch versioning issue with regards to like ESM builds and that kind of stuff. But anyhow, we'll figure that out shortly. Oh, yep, node fetch. Node fetch is yelling at us. Okay, let's see. Node fetch, netlify. This was a problem fairly recently. And so I think the thing was to go to 2.6, I think. Because what happened was, if you run into this issue, is that node fetch was, yeah, it's like 3.2, right? So let's see, node fetch version 2, 2.6.1. Looks like that's the latest one from 2. Yep, we're just going to use the old one so that we don't have this conflict. So let's go ahead and run install again. Okay, now let's ntl dev. Now it shouldn't yell at us. Okay, all right, great. All right, now everything's running. Perfect. So let me bump this over 1/3. Let's bump this over 2/3. All right, so inside of the schedule deploy, we're gonna need to do something else. We need to actually const fetch is gonna be equal requiring node fetch, because we're gonna need to actually fetch said URL. So what we're saying here is actually, rather than hourly, we're basically saying, okay, on the minute, like basically let's test to make sure this even works. So let's say received event. Actually, that should be fine. So let's close that. Let's just log it, and then we'll call it. How frequently can we call stuff? Let's go look at the docs. So normally, okay, so if you're new to cron jobs to me always have had kind of a weird syntax for reading. So I think someone did here, cron tab guru. This is a great one. So apparently the way it's written is it's your minute, your hour, your day, your month, your day. Day of the month, day of the week. But anyways, this is not something you would naturally intuitively like deduce when you're doing things. Hey, I see Ibalaya. Hello, how's it going? Good evening. But anyhow, so I always thought this was kind of funny that it was, again, I'm sure there were limitations when the API was designed, but as a result, cron jobs are just kind of something that's hard to understand if you're new to it, basically. And so one of the things that the scheduled functions tries to do, in fact, I think the spec tries to do for cron jobs, is they try to actually make it easier for people to work with it. So what do I mean by that? Well, rather than having you say, like, for example, this here, this 0011 asterisk apparently means once a year, January 1st at midnight. I would have never guessed it from this. So anyhow, they have daily, weekly, hourly, that kind of stuff. But what we want to do is actually see if we can just get it to run at the hour on a certain minute. So what we're going to do here is, let's see, we're going to come in here. Let me grab this at minute 0. So if we test this out, and then we say this is at 4. Oh, okay, so the minute we want, so right now it's like 21. So let's say 23, and then at any minute 23, yep, at any time. Okay, this is the pattern we want. So hopefully this will work the way I think it will. So we're gonna schedule it for this cron, and then we'll run this thing and just have it log. Okay, so all we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add this deploy feature add sample schedule deploy function. Okay, so now we're gonna push it up, and then let's go ahead and see what's going on here. All right, so we're checking out our deploys. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, so it's building, extracting the cache. Started at 21. This is good. So at least my clock is already showing 22. So this is, I think setting it at 23 was the right call. Bum bum bum. So if we're lucky, the build will finish beforehand. If not, we're gonna have to re-trigger it separately. Meanwhile, we can play a game while we wait. If you didn't know, Netlify introduced this, I believe, at the end of last year, allowing you to play sort of like a basic matching game here. So, okay, that's that. This is here. Okay, nope. Ooh, was the otter here? Yes, I was right. Mountain here. Flag there. Ta-da here. Ooh, that was lucky. Cat here. Oh, I got the cat wrong. This is the T-Rex. This is the starry eye. Aye, how did I mess that up? This is the cat. This is the starry eye. Ha! All right. Now, let's end the game. Hopefully we're good. Oh, it's generating. No, I think I missed it. Okay, it took a little bit longer than I expected. All right. Well, that's a bummer. Okay, no worries there. So meanwhile, while it's going, I'm actually curious, does the functions have not been detected yet? Yeah, because it hasn't been deployed. Okay, well, all right. In the meantime, what we're going to do here is we're going to update this. Let's see, it took maybe roughly 2 minutes to deploy the app. So if we're being reasonable here, and then it's about to be 24, 25, 26, let's just do 27 on the 27th minute. So this is a feature config. Update deploy to trigger at 27 minute, and then that should let us kick this off. Okay, so let's see what's happening. So that's good. So okay, so the first publish build did work. So we can check here now in functions, and it looks like we have a scheduled deploy. And all right, the schedule here, this is the cron job that's being run. I think we could probably at least put this in plain English for people. Like, it's good to show the cron job, but I think totally, well, actually, I should make a note of that. I think it would make sense here. Make English version of schedule. Okay, cool. Good. So nothing's happening right now because this makes sense. Basically, nothing has changed. It would not have kicked off. Our deploys, though, let's go and take a look. Deploy here is running. Okay, so we're not going to play the game again. I just thought I'd demo that because that's fun. Oh, Balaya, hello. Okay, so that game was buggy for me last time. Yeah, sorry I'm late. What are you trying to achieve? So today, our goal here is to basically add schedule functions to to our Netlify deployments, so that basically going forward, whenever I update stuff in Notion, it'll actually update on the website at the right time. And that way I don't necessarily have to wait for things to happen. So here's the basic use case actually. And this would have been useful at the beginning, but that's okay. So here I have my schedule, and here's a great example of where I'm having Nux do some calculations for me, where if it's past the date of today, like for example, we are definitely past, actually no, we're not past February 17th. Okay, oh, this worked. Okay, this is working correctly. Oh, right, because this was recently deployed. Okay, so let me show you an older deploy, because we just recently deployed, so no wonder it did the calculations correctly. Here was the deployment before we did all that. And so, by the way, in case you're wondering, that's basically the power of atomic deploy. It's easy for us to go back in time. And so, oh, was that on the 17th? That's odd. Hold on. Did I not go far enough back? This was done on the 11th. Oh, I guess it didn't get added. Weird. Anyways, so I want the ability, rather than it being dynamically fetched every single time, my calendar doesn't update that often. And so to save resources and just be a little bit more, call it eco-friendly, I just wanted to run on the days so basically I know on Monday it needs to run, on Wednesday it needs to run, and on Friday it needs to run. And that's it. So basically 3 times during the week, the build should run automatically. And that way all I have to do is keep Notion up to date, and then it'll work. Hey, Fahad, I see you there in the chat. How's it going? So that's the problem we're trying to solve here, is getting us to a point where we can schedule our builds on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so that everything, at least when people visit it, it basically has the optimum chance of them having the most up-to-date and correct information. And so, yeah, so this is actually inaccurate. This looks like a bug to me. Why is it doing that? So we'll have to figure that out in a little bit. So, okay, so let's see. The deploys would trigger at 27 minutes. This was correct. If we look at the functions here, hey, it did execute. Check it out. Okay, that is exciting. That was actually pretty easy. Now, the question is, we're going to now test it on whether it can actually deploy set site. So this is where we're going to need to do our const fetch equals require node fetch, because we basically want to trigger a build hook is what we want to do. So inside of this, we'll basically say build hook triggered. And then what we want to do is we want to run a fetch on this URL that I just created for the build hook. And then the method will be post. And I think that's all we need to do, actually. So that's that. And then we're going to have it run at 31. So I think that'll do the trick. We don't even need to worry about event. And oh, wait, this is definitely an async function now because we need to await the fetch. Then take the response, log build hook success. Or let's just do response. And then like response.json. I think that'll do the trick. Like that. Okay, great. Yep. Okay, wonderful. Let's update. Oh, wait, did I say 30? I said 31, right? Okay. Git commit feature add ability to deploy from scheduled function. Push. Okay, this should automatically kick off our build. Although it may be a little late now that I'm realizing this. It's kicking it off at 29. Oof. I don't know if it's going to make the 31. So meanwhile, I guess we'll see. It'll be a game of waiting. So while we're waiting, we're not going to play the game again. We're actually going to do a quick debugging of why my site basically is incorrectly displaying stuff. Because what I wanted to do when they're on the website, when someone comes and they're on the schedule, they should actually see that they should see the active schedule for today is basically what I'm trying to propose here. So we can see here that while the time has technically passed, this is like, okay, so what am I talking about? I'm talking about the build with Ben today, right? Number 29 should really, in basically, at least the way I'm designing it, I'd like it to stay until today. And then at the end of today, then it should go forward. So clearly this is an issue with the logic that I'm having. So let's go ahead and see where that's happening. So basically it looks like upcoming and past event are doing things slightly off. So it's going ahead and it's saying, hey, look, check out the new date. If the new date is greater than, if it's greater than the start, then put it in the past. Otherwise, okay, so the logic here is slightly flawed. Yeah, this is slightly, because what we actually want, return this. So we want to basically check the month and the day. And then we want to make sure that it has gone fully past. It hasn't gone past it entirely by 1 day. So just to double check my date stuff, let's see real quick. So I don't think you can do new date plus 1. That doesn't, did that work? Nope, that did not work. So new date dot get date 15. Okay. So this makes sense. And then we could do new date dot get month. You know what though? See, this is why date functions are complicated, because then you have to worry about the conversions, you have to worry about the dates and that kind of stuff. So what I know what we need to do. Okay. So to solve this problem, we're going to need date functions. At least that'll make our lives significantly easier. So what I'm going to do here first though is let's go ahead and see if the build actually did kick off on Netlify. So we did process the build, but it was at 31. So I think we missed the marker a little bit. Oh, no, it didn't. It worked. Triggered by hook. So if we look in our functions and we look at our scheduled, it's fetching the log. Okay, but it looks like it actually did kick off correctly. So that was actually pretty easy. Okay, so I got a question here from Charlie here. Not to trigger a tangent, but out of curiosity, when you work on your personal blog, is that built into your responsibilities? Ah, yes. So no, this is totally fine. This is totally fine. This is relevant to the topic. So as far as the blog side and that kind of stuff, at least for my role at Netlify, the work on the blog, since it has to do with sharing the technology as well as the techniques around it, then it counts towards the responsibilities of the things we're doing as part of our job. So this is included as part of those responsibilities. That said, okay, so let's see, Charlie Devs, are you factoring for time zone on the server? So that's a good question. I think actually when it comes to the deploy hooks, I think they're always done in the in whatever server how do I say this? Wherever the builds are being run. So I think this is why everything's done in UTC, if I'm not mistaken. But this is a good question. Let me ask this about this. How about time zones? Because to your point, maybe you want it to run at a specific time according to your time zone. And so this means that either we would need to help people automatically factor that in, because otherwise I think you'd end up with weird bugs inadvertently. So great question, Charlie. I will definitely check into that. Okay. So looks like we have our functions actually mostly deployed. So what I'm going to do is let's just actually wrap up this part of the code base. So I'm going to go inside of the scheduled deploy. And so let's clean this up a little bit, because I have a couple things I want to do. One, I want to schedule this on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But based on the way I'm seeing the handler being written right now, there's no way to schedule multiple individual days. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do, let's see, inside of cron guru, apparently what we can do is we can say at midnight on Monday. Okay, this should be okay. Great. And so what we're going to do here is we'll call this the Monday deploy. And then we'll update this now to do this. So basically at midnight on Monday, run the build. build. So I'll just say log Monday build hook, Monday automated build triggered. This is good. Fetch post build hook response. Great. Okay, that's good for me. Then we'll just duplicate this 2 more times because we want Wednesday deploy. Wednesday deploy. You know what though? No, we're gonna shorten this one. Normally I try to write stuff out, but in this particular case, I don't think that's necessary. Wednesday deploy, and then we'll be consistent here with Monday deploy. Monday, Wednesday, then we go ahead and switch this out for Wednesday. Here, this should be that. Let me make sure this makes sense here. Yep, that's good. And then last but not least, we are going to drop in Friday deploy. So this will be Friday automated build triggered, build response, bum, 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 bum. And then here, we should save that, drop this in Friday. Great. All right, so obviously we won't be, I'm not gonna go to the part of like trying to hack the time and make it work, but I think what we have here is we should have the ability to do that. Oh, I see here in the chat, Slicey, build, do we have a build mistake? All right, well, Slicey, if you see something, let me know. Can't you do that in one cron expression? Can we? Could we do like Monday? Could I do multiple? Oh, let's see. All right, here, cron job, multiple day, multiple specify day in week. Let's see. How you cron job on a special range of days? Okay, let's see. So this runs Sunday through Friday. Okay, so it looks like we can do Sunday through Friday. That's fine. How about specific days though? Because like, can we do commas? Run jobs on specific days. I already ran that one. Monday through Saturday, Saturday through Monday. That's fine. Range, minute, hour, day of the week, 0 for Sunday. That's fine. 1 through 6, no. So ideally what I'd like, if this works, actually let's see if this works. So minute, so we wanted 0, 0, we don't care what day, we don't care what month. We do care that it's the Monday. We want it to be Wednesday. Ooh, wait, does this just work? Oh, I guess this works. I was gonna say, if I was gonna design the API, that's what I would come to mind. Okay, so Belaya here with the clutch suggestion. So it looks like what we can do here is we can drop, let's just drop all of these. Let me drop 1, 2, let's delete those. And then we'll take this and we'll just say schedule deploy. And now 1, 3, 5, save. Okay, and then, oh, I know it, there you go. So let's see here with the typo. That's what you were referring to. Thank you for catching that. Now I know what you were referring to. Bum, bum, bum. Build hook, post. Great. All right. So that is much cleaner. Oh, I'm so happy. For a second, I was like, oh, I have to do each function for each thing. This is great. So add ability to schedule function deploy for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Well, gosh, that was, again, there's probably some things we could probably do differently. I'm thinking of ways we can certainly build on the developer experience so that, for example, either making it easier for you to actually like designate those things, because I clearly needed like the cron guru to do that thing. So this is, yeah, it's great. I think more, at least at the bare minimum, I think in the documentation we can enhance with more examples. With more examples of cron jobs like specific days. So Ibelai, thank you so much for that suggestion. Oh, that function looks so much cleaner now. I'm so happy. All right, so we're going to go ahead and push that. All right, so the thing is, though, we do need to fix the schedule. That is a bug. So what we're going to do here is we basically want to run a comparison between whether a day, like basically, all right, so let's like the pseudo programming, right? If the event, right, that we're comparing, if the start date is equivalent to 1 day ahead of the current day, then it belongs in the past. Because if it's the same day, I don't I don't care. I want it to actually show up. So the logic for doing this is most likely going to be easiest to do if we add date functions. So I believe it's called isAfter. Yep. But we have to be careful though, because isAfter I think takes timestamps. So this is the only thing that we have to be careful of, because otherwise it might include that. But anyways, we're going to test this out. So what we're going to do here now is we're going to install date functions. And let's go ahead and import this here. Actually, do we have the ESN? Yeah, let's just do this one. All right, great. So we'll go ahead and import said isAfter. And then what we're going to do is we're going to basically say, okay, so run turn isAfter. Maybe this will be easier than I thought. We'll take today's date. Wait, is it the first one? Wait, the date to compare. So other way around. So we want a new date from the start date. And then from here, then we compare it to new date. This should do the trick. Well, it might not because of the time stamp, but we're about to find that out shortly. Okay, so if I refresh this, ooh, I forgot. I stopped the local dev server. Bum, bum, bum. Okay. This is good. In the meantime, let's actually close some of this so that we have less tabs running. Date functions, we don't need this anymore. So yeah, that schedule function didn't take a lot of time, which I'm happy, because what that ultimately means is we can spend more time doing some other stuff. So we look at the past now. Okay, now we'll see that actually productivity power hour is the last thing that's happened, which is good. Now build with Ben 29 is not showing up, but that makes sense because now that we've done the isAfter, so this is great. See, this is what date functions does so well, because I don't have to like abstract out the date, the month, and then compare whether it's increment. Because remember, it's not as simple as like comparing the day. You have to compare the year, blah, 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 blah. And so if you want to be as bug-free as possible, date functions definitely makes that easier. So upcoming list, we have the same problem here, but this time we're saying that whether or not is before today. Basically, it's like the reverse. So we're looking at this. So let's see, is before, and I think is same day, I think is what we're doing, is same day. Yep. And year and month. So is same day. Yep. Okay. Yes, I am. Oh, actually, there's two ways to do this. Actually, I realized we could do like whether the event is the same day or before. That we can certainly import two new functions to do that. But also, I just realized we could also just negate isAfter. That would actually be accurate as well, because it's just the flip side of that. So return this. I think it's all you would actually need to do. That would actually probably simplify things a bit. So, oh, did not like that. Oh, super did not like that. Okay, hold up. Save. Filter return isAfter. Filter return. Okay, isAfter this. Did not like that. Return this. Save. Okay, refresh. Okay. Oh, that's not good. Oh, wait. Nope. I lost it. Past event list should be good. Oh, wait. Right. Oh, flip it. Flip it. Because if new date, that's what I'm supposed to do. If today's date is after this. Oh, but then I'm end up in the same position, I think. I think it's going to end up with the same problem. Yeah. Filter event where you want upcoming is anything after today. That's what you want. So compare today is this new date where it starts after today. Yeah, this should be. Did I just botch that? Let's see. Charlie here. And so I'm trying to simplify my logic for getting the events, because I clearly have an issue where the dates for today, the events for today are not showing up correctly. And I messed this up. So past event list is actually looking correct, because the past event list, oh my gosh, it's so long. Yeah, the last thing we did, oh no, 24th, 22nd, 17th. Oh, wait. This is correct. Ha! That's why I'm so confused. This is the upcoming. So if we save this, okay, there we go. If we save upcoming, upcoming is correct, but this is where we need to do this. We need to actually do the is same day. So actually I can't get away from this, I realize. So is same day is going to be required. Because if it's the same day, I want it to actually count. So is same day of new date. Although actually if we're doing it this way, I realize const today equals new date. And const event date equals new date event.recording.date.start. Then we can basically say if is the event date after today. But we also want to check whether the event date is the same date as today, because if it is, this should still show up. That's basically what we want to say. So if this works the way I hope it does, build with Ben should show up. This is fine. This is fine. But where did my build with Ben go? Okay, let's go ahead and look at my Notion database to make sure everything's okay. We should have a build with Ben. Yep, that's the 15th from 11 to 12:30 today. This should be part of the data. That shouldn't be a problem. So my curiosity then is what happened to the events list? Why is the event list not showing build with Ben? So let's make sure our source data is correct. So if we look inside of here, let's refresh. Oh, I forgot. This is, okay, there we go. Root, it's because of the dev tools. It can't read the manifest because it's, at least I think it's because it's only looking at view 3 stuff. It's okay. We're going to do this real quick. Let's just, the easiest thing we're going to check is a pre on the event list. This should be massive. Build with Ben, number 29. Okay, 29 is here. Okay, we can see that it's existing here. Why doesn't it like this? If I were to guess, it's a time zone thing. Yeah, so Charlie here, it's saying that it does account for, it should account for timestamps. Is same day only basically focuses on the day, year, and month. So it doesn't matter if the time is the same. So that's why I'm a little perplexed, because is same day should have taken care of the use case where build with Ben 29 would have showed up. But clearly we're seeing that that's not the case. So what is the problem? Well, let's take a look. So productivity power hour, this is, okay, well, let's fix the past one, right? Let's like granularly get to the problem at hand. So if we look at the schedule, the past events is going to be full. Oh, wait. Past events, upcoming. Oh, silly me. I am silly. I was updating the past events list. Yeah. All right, here we go. So switch that. Is same day event today. Today is after the event date after is today after that. Okay, now we save this. There we go. This is showing up. The next one's going to be on Thursday. We're going to talk about project management. Then we're talking about the command center on 22, 24. Okay, this is good. Now I just need to flip said thing, the logic, where we have today, event today, event date, and then today, event date. All right, so we flipped this correctly. Cool. Yes, no, we don't care about the same day. So this is even simpler than that. Whether today is after that, if it is, then, so if I refresh. Ooh, okay, so new bug. If it is the same day, we don't want it in the past. So we want is same day. Shoot. This is, we only want it to return true. So, okay, I think we have to do this. I think this is what we have to do. We have to say if, right, if this thing is true, if is same day is true, then we return false because we don't want said item. Otherwise, return whether or not is after today. I think this is probably the simplest execution on this. Bum, bum, bum. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. I know. Save. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, so... Oh, yes. I think y'all... Okay, Balaya and Charlie here, I think, have a cleaner solution, which I actually do like. So this is the simplest version, right? If this, then that. But what we can also just check is whether or not it is not the same day. That's the first part. And then we can then say, and check that it's after basically today. So this should, nope, save. There we go. This should achieve the same effect. And arguably it is cleaner and easier to understand. Although let me go ahead and check something real quick. Is not same day. I feel like, you know what, is not the same day is going to happen for the most part. So we're going to say it's whether it's after today, and then I would prefer it to be is not same day, I think, as the second part. Because that's like, that should really, at least in my mind, that should not happen that often. So this is the main deciding factor, call it. So I don't know. I imagine, I mean, I don't understand the logistics of the performance end, but I would think that like if I can make this false be false sooner, right, whether it's not after, then at least it cuts it off. Whereas like almost every single item is not going to be the same day as today, so it'll always, that first check will always be true. I don't know if that really makes a difference, but at least in my head, it makes, from like a logic perspective, that seems to help. Okay, so we fixed the bug. Excellent. So happy. All right, great. Okay, so the feature, oh wait, actually this is a fix. Update logic for sorting, displaying events on the schedule page. Do. All right, cool. Now that we got that, there's a couple of things. Okay, so wow, we are crushing through my agenda for today. Okay, so so far we've done scheduled hooks, and we've updated we fixed a bug. So what else can we do? Okay, oh, here we go. So it looks like the learn page right now is broken for some reason. Let's fix that. So let me just double check real quick that I am right. I think the learn page has been broken for a little bit. Oh no, it's still, this is deploying correctly. Why is it broken here? All right. Oh, well, actually, you know what? Nope, here, look. These things are broken, so we're gonna fix that. Let's fix it. All right, let's go. Unexpected. Okay, so something's wrong with the JSON. Clearly something's broken. This is why it is broken. Okay, so let's look at the learn page and let's learn what's going on. Okay, so we have the API courses, res JSON, and then it's saying I'm not happy because database content doesn't make any sense. So what if we did on mounted, we logged database content? Can we do that? Oh, wait, I need this. Context, refresh, So it doesn't like it. No, it really doesn't like it. Okay, let's go to the root of it. What happened to the API that I designed? So if we go to courses.js, okay, clearly we have a whole bunch of stuff happening with Notion. There's a bunch of stuff that's getting mapped. Okay, but what if I just log hello to make sure this is being called correctly? So if we look and reload, we see Notion request fail. Could not find some sort of end date. This is good. Can we find my hello in here? I guess it didn't happen. I guess, you know what, I think it errored out before I could get to my hello. Okay, so sorted by end date. You know what? I'm not even going to worry about sorting it. Let's just take that out and save. And then once again, let's check out this. Good. Refresh. Oh, yeah. So, okay, so Yufu Turco Glue. Hello. Okay, so we're going to rewind a little bit because there's a question here regarding explaining the scheduled hooks a little. Seems a serverless function there, but missed that part. Yeah, absolutely. So basically what's happening here is we need a way to let Netlify know that we want to schedule a function, basically schedule deploys. And the way Netlify is chosen to approach that is through serverless functions. And so what we do essentially is we create a serverless function inside of our folder for wherever you're hosting them. And the key thing here is this schedule function right here that we're importing from Netlify functions. And what that is ultimately doing is allowing us to define a cron job that will talk to the Netlify backend and ensure that all the cron job stuff is set up correctly. And then what it says is basically, hey, by telling us how often you want it to run, you can then define what you want to run inside of here. And so the way you trigger a build is basically creating a build hook, which I showed earlier. And so I'll let the recording demo that, but I did want to just go ahead and explain this. So then once you trigger that build hook, basically that's saying on this interval, run this function inside of here. And that's basically what's happening. So right now, it looks like the Netlify schedule functions is still in labs. And once that's stable, I'm sure there'll be a big announcement. But then more importantly, I'll make sure to just do a dedicated tutorial just to show from beginning to end. And that way people can set that up. But I thought it'd be fun to just go ahead and play around with it and show at least how it works, sort of like, call it like a sneak peek on what's coming up. So that's the high level of what it is. If you have any other questions about it though, let me know. All right, so we are trying to fix this problem where we can't read stuff and things are just breaking. So you know what? I am just commenting all this out. I am just gonna, we're not even gonna worry about the body. We're gonna ignore that. And then please just log out database content. Okay, let's see if this even worked. Let's figure out what broke. Oh, okay. We have a bunch of stuff. This is good. Page, properties. Okay, good. This is a good thing. All right, so it's not an authentication issue. That's not the problem. But what we can see is this is a long list. Okay, cover. Yep, okay. So what we could do, actually, you know what? Let's just stringify the database content. And we're just going to send that back. But before we do that, because I know it's going to break a bunch of stuff, is let's make sure we actually note that's that. And then let's just print everything out, database content. And let's just see it all in action. So that's that. That's that. Now when we refresh, that should trigger everything to fetch. Ooh, so we're still getting a build issue. Okay. 200. Why is it not liking this? Oh, I bet I know why. So when you're working with components and you're rendering stuff, a lot of times they're going to want to see stuff happening. So we're just going to go ahead and actually wipe all this out real quick because I don't want to deal with rendering issues. Okay, here we go. Now we see a bunch of stuff. So we have our results here, which is what we did originally. So let's go ahead and sort of reverse engineer the original result. So we took on the database results. This is fine. And then we filtered it out. What do we filter it out? We filtered it out by type, and then we mapped it. Okay, so at the time I was only looking for courses. That's fine. And so, yep, here we go. Multi-select. Yep, and then type list.find type.name equals course. Okay, that seems good. Then we go ahead and return, we map through that and return exactly what we need. So we have the ID of said item, and we have a bunch of properties. So the ID is here, that's good. End date is item.properties. Ah, that's what this is. Okay, so the end date disappeared. This is gone. Platform also does not exist anymore. That's gone. Oh, wait, no, it's here. Platform dot. Oh, it's a multi-select now. That's what broke. Okay, we're ignoring that. We don't care about platform. Publish URL. This is a good thing. We want to be able to say publish URL dot URL. Okay, that's good. And the title will be item.properties dot name. Good. Name, and then name apparently dot title. Title is an array. Array first item text, and then dot text dot content. See how deep that goes? That's why we're simplifying the API response so that we don't have to do that inside of our front end, right? That's all done on the back end for us. Okay, so now that this is better, now we can do final results like this. And now this should be significantly cleaner. So if we refresh this page, oh, still an error. Not great. Why is it unhappy? Okay, do reading URL. Oh, okay. So it's saying, what if the URL doesn't exist? So if we go inside of the CMS, so basically this is where all my stuff lives. So inside of my content, let's go in to look at the table. Okay, where are my courses in here? Yeah, all my courses are in here. So let's create a new view. Actually, let me bump this up actually so people can actually see things. So let me do all my courses because this is clearly what I care about in this particular view at the moment. So we can filter out all, we have the type. Yep. Type contains course. Oh, wait a second. Type multi-select. Okay, that's fine. So it's a course. It has a publishing URL. No publishing date. Has a recording date. Okay, all of these have a publishing URL. What is it talking about? Find, filter. Okay, you know what? Let's just even ignore this. What if we just filtered it like this? Results.filter. Okay. So now if we refresh. Okay, now everything's showing up. We have an array. This is good. Publishing date. Publish, blog publish date. Publishing URL. Okay. What's wrong? So if I map it, take every item, return item at ID, publish URL is going to be item properties. Publishing URL. That's it. It was a key mismatch. So if we refresh this now, much cleaner now. All right, you see this? Boom, 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 boom. Perfect. So now let's undo this. And then we can go inside of here real quick. And let's go ahead and see. So the publish URL here is fine. I'm fine with that. I'm not going to worry about the end date right now. We're not going to worry about platform, actually. So let's go ahead and just delete that subtitle. Actually, let's just do placeholder real quick. Placeholder, save. Huh, did I actually do that? All right, whatever. We'll figure it out. Okay, great. So learn, live stream, build with Ben. Need to clearly update this. Courses, here we go. Launching with serverless functions. Okay, up and running with serverless functions. Create a web application. Okay, this is good. Clearly, though, part of the problem is I have the same description for everything. This is not good. So what we want to do then is actually have a description field. So this is actually why I like having Notion, is because it's fairly easy for me to scaffold things. So if I do here and do like description, oh, I already have a description in the database. Excellent. All right, delete this column. Let's see. Properties, description. Okay, great. So yeah, let's just gather that data real quick. Let's see, launching. Because I wrote all this with composition API. So there we go. Wait, where's the course? I want the course itself. Oh, apparently, I just want the description. All right, here we go. Let's just take this one sentence. Let's keep it simple. That's that. All right, and then, okay, actually, this will be a good test. So we have this here. This means to me that we have a properties.description, although I don't know what the form of that is in the Notion API. So we're gonna have to figure that out ourselves. And the way we're going to do that real quick, actually, is we'll go ahead and inside of our learn or resources, what did I call it? Courses. Inside of the courses, we can map here properties.description. So what I can do is actually real quick is we can say description. So actually publish URL. Let's do description. So knowing the general shape, it would most likely look like this. And then that's all we can say for now. So to verify this works, what we can do is rather than have this sort of like description that automatically is included to everything, we could instead have this pre-tag that says resource.description. So this should work. Dave, yes, unfortunately we have an early stream today because basically we got a big Netlify announcement coming up in, I think, in less than an hour. And so I'll be helping to do some streaming duties over there, to sort of making sure everything's working in the back. And so as a result, we're streaming a bit earlier today. So thanks for coming by, though. We are working on trying to get Notion properly hooked up with the learn space, and I am clearly not seeing anything. Huh. Why did it not get the description? Because we should. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Rich text, content. Woo, that's a lot. Okay. So this API is complicated. So we not only want description. So if description oh no, we can do this. Dot rich text dot. Oh no, first item. Oh, is it because if it's like a per paragraph? Oh gosh. Dot text dot content. All right, that should do it. So now if we refresh, it should be, oh, was not happy. Not happy at all. And my guess is, the reason why, if I'm to guess, is because not everything has the actual text. So my API design here is a little optimistic, unfortunately. Okay, so the simplest version of this is to just check if it exists, right? Yep. Okay. Rich text dot length. Oh, I see Joshua here in the chat. Yeah, so the question here is, will there be productivity stream this week? You know what? Always, at least if I'm streaming for the week, if I'm not taking out for whatever reason, yes. Basically, my balance for now is having Tuesday be Build with Ben and Thursday be Productivity Power Hour. And so this Thursday, at least for now, I'm scheduling a discussion around project management for individuals, just because sort of continuing our discussion last week regarding success metrics and that kind of stuff. We'll be using Obsidian to sort of talk about some of these ideas around project management and some of the concerns I have with traditional project management theory. So that's what it'll be. And then, of course, as always, if people have ideas in the chat or want to discuss about other things, tangents are always welcome. So that will be the schedule. But yeah, you can always get the latest and greatest here. And I try to keep them updated. So if you want to add it to your calendar here, that should let you do everything. So, all right, cool. Thanks for swinging by, Josh. All right, so clearly this is a problem. If it's greater than 0, then run all of that. Otherwise, do this. Rich text 0.text.content. I think that's right. I'll save that. That's super not fun to look at, but I just want to see if things work right now. So let's refresh this. All right, so at least it's not broken, although it looks like everything is still saying the same exact thing. So what we can do here is, you know what, I'm gonna cut this out. Not gonna worry about it. So now if we refresh this, everything should disappear. Wait a second, though. This doesn't make any sense. Oh, I'm looking at the live site. I'm glad I caught that sooner rather than later. I was like, what is going on? I am making changes and nothing is showing up. All right. Learn. This is good. All right, learn to use. Yeah, this pre is showing up. This is good. This is good. Okay, great. So what we can do now is, for example, inside of Notion, I had the up and running with serverless function. This is a longer description, but now that I've dropped that in and refresh, this should be cleaner. Yep, great. Okay, so if this works the way I think it should, we can actually just take the resource.description and drop it in here, eliminate our pre-tag, and now when we refresh, it should look much cleaner. There we go. That's that. There we go. Learn how that works. Great. URL is there. You know what? And we don't need the placeholder right now. Whenever I'm ready to add more metadata, we'll take care of that. So that's good. I'm happy with that. And then for the description, real quick though, it's bumping up a little close to that. So I wonder if I can quickly add like a margin top, like 1 rem. Will that work? I don't think that worked, because if I were to guess, there's some sort of specificity happening here. Margin bottom. Oh, nope. It should. All right, well, let's see. Guide item content description, like that. And there you go. Now it's bumped up a little bit. Okay. Very good. Okay, so now that makes it clear that not everything has the same description. This is good. I'll go ahead and populate that later. But at the bare minimum, the courses now are showing up properly, so we can call that a fix. So TIG status, we fix some things, commit fix update learn page to take on new Notion schema properties. Great. Okay. Cool. So actually, you know what? I need to make a note inside of Obsidian to let me know that this is something I will need to do. So notes, update, course descriptions in Notion. Okay. So we're not going to have you watch me enter in data because we have other things, more fun things to do together. So, okay, we have that. We've taken care of that. This is good. Now, uses page. Okay, this would be more fun. So I've talked about this endlessly, and I've found different ways of managing this, but clearly, like for example, all of this is out of date. So to show you let's put ourselves in the context, I have a uses page that tells you all the stuff all my hardware, gear, and stuff that I've used in the past. Well, this list is out of date. So what we'd like to do then is probably, honestly, just for the sake of consistency and the fact that like having the CMS is nice, I'm probably just going to manage everything still. I think using Notion is probably my best bet at this point. So what we're going to do here is then just sort of show a high-level integration, I think, in the time we have remaining of how that might happen. So I think what we're going to do here is I'm just going to create, let's see, we have the content database. Yeah, okay. I'm going to add a brand new one, and this time we're going to call it gear dashboard. Or you know what? I'll call it uses dashboard. Let's be specific. Basically, let's relate it. So it's more like a gadget. So you know what? I'll use the headphones emoji for now. What we use. Okay, this is going to be a table. And so one of the things I really do love about Notion that it did really well is its implementation of what are essentially databases. They look like Excel spreadsheets, but they're databases. So for example, things like this. So obviously I'm grouping things right now into things like hardware, or things I used to use. I guess I was trying to write like, I'm sort of trying to categorize things. So I have apps, editor. Okay. Apps that I care about. Okay. That makes sense. So let's just start by let's not rock the boat too much. What we can start with is we can just have a category, right? So what category is this thing belong to? So clearly I have a couple right now. I have hardware. We said the other one is editor and terminal. So this is a very specific uses category because I think a lot of people have questions regarding like fonts and that kind of stuff. And then we'll have apps. There we go. Those will be our three main categories from a... Oh, hello, Radio Signal. I'm sorry. Yes, I had to update the streaming schedule to be a little bit earlier because I have an event for Netlify I need to attend later on in the day. So I had to schedule it earlier. But don't worry, the recording will be up later. And this Thursday, I think we're still at our same time. But it's good to see you, Radio. Thanks for swinging by. All right. So taking a look at this. See, this is what's tricky is that it's not even just a list of things. Usually there's a description and stuff that goes with it. So it'll be, I mean, this will be a fun exercise, right? So from a database perspective, what else do we care about? We care about probably the name of the item. So that's fine. That'll be this. So the equivalent of this is right now, let's see, let's take a look at this Mac. I am currently running a MacBook Pro 14-inch 2021. And then let's see, I guess I will add the M1 Max here. Actually, so this is interesting. So honestly, oh wait, 2021. And then I need to add specs, I guess, as part of it. How would specs even work? I guess certain hardware does have certain specs that people care about, but you want to do it in a way that's not like really difficult to do. I guess I could just list it all out inside of this. It's a lot, right? Because generally speaking, I mean, okay. Womp womp. What do I want to do about that? Okay, anyways. Let's just for now call it what it is. Let's just say M1 Max 64 gigabyte RAM. That is set hardware. Editor terminal, right? So we could say VS Code is what I'm using. But VS Code definitely comes with a lot of other things, right? Because even we see here, while I'm using, I'll be more explicit, Visual Studio Code, I have some context regarding why I did it. Oh, I wonder if this is going to end up working. Oh, no, I think it's going to be fine because what we can do is we can edit it in the page itself so that people can learn more about the different things. So that's fine. Editor, terminal, and then terminal, I'm still using iTerm 2, actually. And so then I can be more specific within it. So okay, each section, okay, this makes sense. Every item is its own thing. So for example, like I can also state the fact that I'm currently running an iPad Pro 11-inch. I forgot what model it is, but let's say that would be hardware. We've talked about other hardware. So headphones, that's gear, right? So I'm using the Apple AirPod Max, that's hardware. And then let's see what let's just give some examples here. As far as apps goes, yeah, 1Password. I don't care if it's 1Password, LastPass. Password managers are such a game changer. Notion is big. Okay, great. And of course, we're gonna want Obsidian in here. How could we leave this out? All right, let's just stop right here for now. So we have a high-level integration, management of data. And so a couple key things though that I want to try immediately is, okay, so MacBook Pro here, maybe that's not a good one. Let's do the Visual Studio Code one. We want to provide more context. And a good way to do this is basically to type this stuff out in here. So this is like call it like the rich text editor of what's going on here. So let's do that. And then let's say, all right, let's leave it at that. I'm curious to see how the heck we're going to actually take what Notion has stored and render it out to the page. So let's do it. So inside of Notion, actually, we need to do one more thing. This particular dashboard is going to need it'll need access from the Notion bot, which I'll go ahead and invite. Notion bot now has access. And then, all right, we're going to need that database later on. So let's come on inside of here. So do we have everything? We are good. So inside of our netlify functions, we're going to add something for uses.js. And then let's copy over the courses, because that's what we just worked with. That way we have less boilerplate to work with. So here we go. Let's go ahead and have final results be an array for now. We're not going to worry about too much. Database ID. Okay, this is from the URL. So the URL here, I believe the database ID should be this thing right here. Everything else is a view. It's like a parameter query. Okay, so that's that. So database content is this. All right, so then let's do the final results equals, for now, database content dot results. Let's do that. Final results, good. Okay, so what we can do now is learning from our previous. So if we do uses dot our uses. Oh, is it just an MD page? Did I not even make it more complicated than that? Oh gosh, fascinating. I used the content and ended up not integrating that directly. Huh. Oh, no. Here we go. Uses index. There we go. I was going to say, I was confused for a moment. All right, cool. We got this. Now we'll need to do the same thing we did with the courses page, right? So if we take a look at the index for courses for learn. Ooh, I need to revise some of this. Okay. We can call basically a similar function here to basically say database content for use, fetch API uses. This will fetch our uses endpoint that we just created. And that's what we're going to return to the page. So this is database content. And then to show that this works, we're just going to go ahead and use a pre-element on database content. Okay. So I know I wired stuff up pretty quickly, but we're going to find out real quick whether or not this actually does work. Why does m.baseURL not like it? Oh, is it because netlify dev? It shouldn't be any different than before. Here we have env index learn. Oh, there we go. Are we good now? You stumbled upon a mysterious error. What's happening? Oh, it is not happy. All right, env is not defined. It really doesn't like it. This is what I'm a little confused though, is the env here shouldn't be any different than the env in learn. Why is the environment? Oh, wait, I didn't break it out. That's why. Env belongs, I need to actually destructure the env out. Then we should be good. Hey, okay, cool. So we got a bunch of stuff. Okay, so a question here is we are currently listing out database content. And the item in question that's the most interesting to me is this Visual Studio Code. Because Visual Studio Code comes with a ton of stuff. So let's zoom out a little bit so it's easier to see. So Visual Studio Code here is here. This is its name. This is its category. That's fine. But we did not get the page within. Huh. Because what we can see here is we actually don't see the text of what's inside of here. So this is a URL, and so this is fascinating. Okay, so let's see, Notion API documentation. So I clearly missed something because just because it looks like the rich text that we included in the element is very different. So we got this, we got the titles, we got the properties, but how do we get stuff that's inside of it? So our use as items inside the database, each page must conform to the database schema, must share the database with the integration. Yes, I got the database ID. I understood that. How do we get the page content? Finding pages in the database using the query a database endpoint. Filter property. Yup. Async filter, that's fine. Date log response. Databases.retrieve. Is that what we're calling inside of our function? That is the question. So inside of our uses here, database.query. We can find all the pages which matches the condition. What is the difference between query versus retrieve? Building a property value object in code. To remain inflexible as the environment changes, use the retrieve. What is the difference between query? Finding tables can be read from the table in query. Yup. Finding places versus retrieving a specific page. So this still doesn't tell me. Some databases are very large. This endpoint allows you results in a specific order. Okay, clicking on retrieving a page. Of course, the API reference is broken. Okay, query a database object. Yep, this is what we've been using, right? We've been querying it. Retrieve a database using the ID specified. Okay, maybe this is what they're referring to. Because you're retrieving the database ID. No, I don't. Retrieves a database object versus querying it, get a list of pages. If you retrieve a specific database, what do you end up getting? Just yes, no? That's weird. Okay, retrieve a page. So pages.retrieve page ID. Okay. So for every result, we have to go through and map through it and then fetch it. Gosh, because we need to get at the underlying page. So, right, that's the page ID. So, okay, I'm thinking this through. So to verify this even works, what we can do is if we look at this page right here and look at the link, this here is the page ID. Nope, this can't be the page ID. That's not it. Oh, maybe this is the page ID. All right, let's test this out real quick. Cons page query equals await. Let's go. Hide. Okay. Await notion.pages.retrieve. And then we do the page ID is this thing. I don't think this is going to work, but it's fine. And then we're just going to do final results equals page query. Okay. Let's do that. Okay, fingers crossed. Here goes nothing. Refresh. Okay, so it looks like it did retrieve the single item. But it did not retrieve the contents. That's what's weird to me. So I did successfully figure out the page ID. What is going on? All right, refresh. Database ID is this. ID here. Visual Studio Code is this. Select ID, database ID. This is the parent, right? We don't care about the parent. Okay, we care about this. Okay, maybe I'll redo this. Page query. No, it looks like I basically got that right. I had that right. Because I replaced it, just has a couple dashes in the middle, but I'm pretty sure I got that right. Now we refresh this. This will only include the page, archive, name. How do we get the page content? Okay, maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm reading the documentation wrong. Retrieve a page. Each page references errors. Page.notions pages.retrieve. Nope, I'm using that endpoint. Huh. Interesting. Retrieve a block. Like, I expected the page object to have a ton of blocks. Why is retrieving a page not... Whoa, what is this? Page property item. Each page property have a type and on the key for each type. Title rich text relation. Async property ID. Woo. Oh my gosh. This is tricky. Huh. I see here, Rishi Intellectual, never thought streaming coding could be a thing, just stumbled down here. Yep, it's a thing. Pandemic has definitely spawned a new generation of coding streamers to just sort of hang out, connect with y'all, and just answer questions. And also, it helps us because we have a little bit of accountability because we get to build the things that we're sort of talking about. And yeah, so learning in public, basically. Thanks for stopping by, Rishi. New perp 123. Hello, thanks for stopping by. We are looking at the Notion API and it's not working the way I want it to. Database property is easy. That's clearly a piece of cake. They did a good job making that easy. But my question is, why when I retrieve the page... Oh, here. Retrieve block children content. Oh no. What? Returns a paginated array of children blocks using the ID specified. What? Okay. Don't panic. All right, let's just copy this real quick. We have this. Let's see. Let's call this a block list. And the block list is await children's blocks.list. And the block ID is we're going to use the same block ID that we use from the page ID. Because I think all pages are technically blocks. It's one of those like meta gotcha things. Okay, block list. Then I can make final this block list. This is probably gonna break, but we'll deal with that in due time. So if we're taking a look at here and refresh. Oh, we do have something. Check it. Okay, so we have some text. Oh my gosh. Yep. My instinct was correct. Okay, well, it looks like it really just split it up into individual pieces, and we'd have to stitch them together. Text content, text link. Wow. Yeah, you need like a whole rendering engine to like figure out how to render this correctly. Like at this point, it would just... Like, I like Notion, but I don't know if I want to spend time recreating the rendering engine. Like, I almost rather just do plain Markdown and just, that's that. I'm not even sure this is worth the automation then, if that's what has to happen, because this is a lot. Okay, well, that was a fun experiment. Let's go ahead, and I see there's a question here. Let's see, the last question for the stream. So new perp here, new perp. Is it okay to directly manipulate an object you get as a prop in a component? If not, what is the actual correct way to handle this situation? Okay, so this is a great question. So NewPerp, the best way for me to explain this, I think, will be honestly through code examples, and we could like code and discuss this out. But given, since we're kind of coming to the end of time, what I will tell you at a high level is that there's nothing wrong inherently with mutating a prop in Vue 3. Like if you like, that's what you're being passed and that's what you're changing. The reason why you've heard people caution against it is because it can be tricky sometimes to figure out where the change is coming from. So if you're trying to source like where changes are being emitted from and that kind of stuff, it can be, call it, easier to reason and like sort of follow if you say that like you pass the props down, and then when you pass the props down, you set up a reactive state for the component to track, right? And when all the updates are done changing, you will emit an event that will then tell the parent, hey, this specific object now has changed with these properties. Now, don't get me wrong, there is a little bit of infrastructure you have to set up in order to make that possible. And so depending on the complexity of the situation, it might make sense to set that up. But I would say that there's nothing wrong if you find that you don't have that problem and it's clear enough for developers that mutating a prop directly is something that, again, it's like if it solves your problem and it works for your team, just know that you just introduced a little bit of like sort of complexity in that regard. So yeah, let's go ahead. Oh, as far as I remember, there's a React component that can deal with Notion block madness. Maybe there's something out there for view. I do believe there is like a Notion renderer that's actually more agnostic, not even for React. But that said, for my website, one of the things I try to do is remove the number of dependencies for these things. So if I need another library to render the stuff from Notion, I'm not sure it's worth me storing everything in Notion because I personally prefer storing things in Obsidian as well. So if anything, that probably motivates me a little bit more to figure out how to do the Obsidian integration rather. So yeah, so ArcNeca here, view Notion. Yep. So clearly there are solutions for this if you're trying to do it, but I think for the purposes of my blog and my site, I think this is where I might stop the integration point with it. So let's switch on over back to the camera as we wrap up for today. All right. I see Rishi here. It's really great seeing such a thing on Twitch as well. I don't have a great knowledge in web development. I'll be learning it properly soon. Trying to get into cybersecurity. Wow, yeah, cybersecurity is a big field. So wishing you the best of luck as you embark on that. But if you ever have any web dev questions or want to look into that, always feel free to come by and hang out. Happy to answer any questions that you might have. So yeah, I see iBelight agreeing with what I'm saying here. Probably not worth re-implementing the Notion block handling. Yeah, especially because I know the API for Notion is still in like a beta phase and there's a decent amount going on there. That's just a lot to consider when most of what I want to do can be done in straight Markdown. So if anything, especially when the Nux 3 content stuff comes out, I want to figure out how to integrate better with Obsidian so I can keep stuff updated there and then it just kind of pushes up to the blog. That's honestly my ideal workflow. But with that said, today has been a really productive day. We checked out Netlify's scheduling functions, and so allowing us to schedule different deploys on different intervals. And then in addition, we also gone ahead and we fixed some bugs on the website, as well as took a look at different Notion integrations. So it's been an absolute blast. So thanks a lot. Shout out to Newperp, Rishi, Joshua, Charlie Dev here, just all getting to hang out and help with the debugging. So it's been a lot of fun. As far as the streaming schedule, as mentioned earlier, we'll be hanging out again on Thursday doing Productivity Power Hour. And so the planned topic for this week is about project management for individuals, because while seemingly a boring topic, I think for a lot of us, I think it's something that we actively have to do, to be honest. And when I say you have to do is like to allow ourselves to scale better and manage where our efforts are going. It means that we need the ability to kind of see what direction we're going. And right now, I think traditional project management is really hard for individuals to do. So anyways, we'll be talking more about that on Thursday. But with that, thanks for hanging out, everyone, and I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.